And so I decided I would just do a video. I have been wanting to write this blog about being, I was going to title it A Tale of Two Cities. How do you fit in perfectly? I feel like I'm an anomaly. I don't fit in perfect in any of those. And then the idea to do this blog even got amplified more when I downloaded Nas's Life is Good album, and on the song with Mary J. Blige, he has a line where he's like, too hood for Hollywood, but too rich for like the hood. And it's like, damn, that's true. A lot of famous people have to go through that. You still got your hood roots, but now you gotta be Hollywood. Well, Hollywood is all about, pretty and perfect, and you're not about that life. So that's why I want to do this video, because sometimes I find it hard to fit in. Now, I'm never gonna change who I am, no matter who I'm around. If you don't like me, you don't like me. You kind of got to get over it, because I'm gonna always be me. I'm gonna always be from Chicago. I'm gonna always be that. I'm always gonna rep my city, even with the foolishness and the craziness that's going on. It's still a place. Still a beautiful place to be. It's still an amazing place to grow up. You learn things. You learn how to hustle. You learn how to get by. You learn how to make the best out of any situation. And I think anybody can say that about where they're from. But to be from Chicago like that's kind of fly. People kind of hate on you when you say from Chicago, or people really excited when you say from Chicago, and they always say you from the real one. Yeah, I'm from the real 773-606 Chicago. But being in school, I've had to balance. I almost feel like I have split personalities. So when I'm at home, my vernacular is totally different. I speak slang. I understand it. It rolls off so easily. It just comes across. It's a natural thing for me. Versus when I'm in school and I'm in class, grad school classes, the people who aren't from urban areas like myself, who don't really understand the urban lifestyle, professors who don't have an inkling of an idea what it's like to grow up in the situation I grew up in, right? So then you have to kind of toggle in between. And growing up, you hear your parents say that's your white voice. Yeah, it is your white voice, okay? Although sometimes I think that's ignorant to say it's your white voice. That's your, you're speaking proper English. But I find it at times that it's so much harder for me to speak properly. Like, when I'm around my friends and family, and even right now, like this conversation is just, the words are just coming out fine. I'm not really thinking about it. But when I'm in class and I have to make a point, it's so many times I just want to be like, look, this is what I'm trying to say. But I have to say it in the academic setting and make it sound, pretty and positive and fluffy, so people don't take it to harm or take me the wrong way. And so sometimes I feel like when I'm in school, like I just don't fit in, because the hood always want to come out. And there'll be times when they'll ask questions about, Chicago life, or we'll read something about gangs in Chicago, and then people will ask me, is it really like that? And then that's when you're opening the floodgates for Maryland to get Chicago on you, and I'm explaining things, and I'm telling you things, and I'm showing you things. One of my professors went so far as to say there's Muncie, Maryland, and then there's Chicago, Maryland. I'd be true. Chicago, Maryland is a little more boisterous, a little more loud. She speaks slang. She understands that lifestyle. Muncie, Maryland is a little more demure. She's politically correct. She tries to be anyway. She kind of loses all sense of Chicago in that moment. But don't think for 1 second that Muncie, Maryland cannot turn into Chicago, Maryland if you piss her off. Because like I said, it's always in me. Chicago is innate in me, to the point that when I don't know that she's coming out, she comes out. I have to catch myself, because it could be bad for everybody involved. But on the flip of that, so yeah, I feel crazy being at school, but then sometimes when I'm at home in Chicago, I feel like I don't belong. And you might be like, well, you just sat here and said you're born and bred in Chicago. That's in you. But there are times when the educated side comes out, and people who aren't used to that don't know how to deal with me, don't know how to communicate with me. Um, and so then I find myself having to dumb down the situation to accommodate those. So I'm accommodating for people. Um, sometimes I feel like when I go home, when I first get home from a long stint of being in school, I'm extra Chicago. Like, I'm pushing the boundaries of being Chicago. But then after a couple, days or a week or so, I'm calm. Now I can just be normal me. But sometimes I feel like I have to be overly Chicago when I go back home. And it's just, it's crazy. Because I feel like it's a survival mechanism. In order to survive in this academic setting of grad school, I have to flip and be this other person. This person that people want to get to know, who they're not scared of, or, people are still going to be intimidated regardless, but that they're willing to listen to and want to be friends with, and things like that. But then when I get home to Chicago, I got to flip again, and I feel like that flip is more drastic for me. Because people in Chicago, now, you can't be no punk in Chicago. Like, you can't. And that's with or without the crime. Like, you got to walk around knowing that you can hold your ground, or you just will get dealt with. So I don't know. Like I said, it didn't seem like I had a lot to say, but I didn't want to blog this because I wouldn't be able to express everything that I wanted to say. So I just wanted to see. Just wanted to get that out there. I wonder if other people feel that way. I'm sure a lot of people of color feel that way, especially if you're from an urban area. Like, when you're in school, you have to flip roles. You have to play the part, or you won't make it. Because if I were to go into class and be Chicago me all the time, I would be disagreeing with people all the time. I would be making comments. I would just be giving them the shitty face, like, you sound stupid. But I have to, combat stupid or crazy comments in an educational way, academic way. It gets tiring, guys. It does. But you gotta play your part. And I know how to play this part very well. It's like breathing. When I'm thrown back into the academic situation, it may take me a day or two to, acclimate myself back into it. But once it happens, then it happens. As soon as I get in Chicago, it triggers. Like, it immediately triggers to get back into Chicago mode. But it takes a little bit longer for me to get back into scholarly mode. So, communication accommodation theory. That's something for you guys to go out and learn more about. There are a lot of theories that explain the reason why people do the things that they do in real life. And if you read it, you'd be like, wow, that's kind of cool. Comm studies. It may not be like the booming major to be in, but it's a pretty cool. You learn some good things. It's express yourself too. So, that's it. I'm going to watch a movie and eat some ice cream now.